In this video, we're going to teach you how you can rank #1 on ChatGPT and also Google Maps. And this is the step-by-step process that I've used to rank over 100 plus Google business profiles and local businesses #1 on AI, but also Google Maps. So stay tuned to the end of this video because we're going to cook and we're going to release all of our sauce here. Here's what the document or video will do for you depending on where you're watching this. Right now, search has changed forever, but most local businesses don't really know this yet. They're still doing the old SEO with keywords, blocks, and backlinks. If backlinks are confusing to you, just ignore this for now because we'll get into it. That's worked before, but now it doesn't work anymore. Right now, platforms like Google, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity all use AI. And AI doesn't just rank websites. If your business is not the clear answer to somebody searching you, you just don't show up. So we're going to reveal how rankings actually work today, why local businesses have an advantage, and what Google and AI really look for, and how to become the answer they choose. There's no tech talk, there's no fluff, we're just going to tell you the truth. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some local businesses show up everywhere while others are invisible. So let's get into how rankings really work. First off, I want to give a brief introduction if this is your first time watching my channel or watching this video. I'm Norman. I've spent the past couple of years working with local businesses all over US, helping them generate leads from Google, paid ads, and now AI-driven search. But before building software, I ran and scaled local marketing agencies to multi-six figures, working with hundreds, if not thousands, of real businesses in competitive local markets. And that experience matters because they expose one truth. Most local SEO advice does not work in the real world. And I've seen it time and time again where rankings spike and disappear, agencies overpromise and underdeliver, optimized profiles slowly decay, businesses rely on one-time SEO fixes. Also, I am a software engineer by background, so this means I don't simply guess, I test systems, I measure outcomes, I look for patterns that actually scale. Right now, I'm building an AI-powered SEO software focused specifically on Google Maps, local search, and how AI engines like ChatGPT recommend businesses. And the goal is very simple. Just take what's currently working for all my clients, and instead of doing it all manually, have a repeatable system that can do it on autopilot with AI. Our company has access to millions, if not billions, of data points that rank clients predictably across all niches and all cities. In this document, I'll reveal it all. So everything in this document will be based on what Google publicly confirms and not just based on vibes. What we've actually seen across real profiles, millions, if not billions of data points collected by us, and what consistently moves rankings in competitive markets. There's not going to be any theories, so we're just going to show you what works and why it works. So let's dive into this video. And next, if you're watching on Gamma or you're watching on YouTube, we'll have some links in the description where you could go ahead and start a trial to our software. Or if you're an agency serving local businesses, you could basically white label and partner with us, and you can automate all the GBP and AI rankings for your local business clients as well. Now, what is the difference between Google search and AI search? So what if I told you it's the exact same thing? Are you going to click off of this document or video? Because I'm a founder at an AI software company, Lead Oracle, you should try us out. We're training AI models on a daily basis. But with all AI models, all of it pulls from data that they train themselves from Google or Bing or Yahoo. And Gemini is literally owned by Google. So ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude all get their data from the web and from Google. As a result, ranking on AI search engines is almost the same thing as ranking on Google. You're following the same boring old tactics with a twist that we'll get into later in this video. And whenever AI recommends a local business, it heavily relies on Google Maps data. That means if you don't win on Google Maps, you simply don't win on AI search either. So I'll include some proof down below. So this is one of my roofing clients. As you can see, we managed the business profile and we're ranking #1 in the map pack in the city. And then whenever I go to ChatGPT, it also ranks #1 on ChatGPT. So sorry to burst your bubble for local businesses. Whenever agencies tell you they can rank you on ChatGPT or AI search, it's just a sexy label that marketers put on things to get people excited. I kind of also did this in order to get your email in case you're watching on the Gamma doc. But now let's talk about how we can rank on AI and also traditional search engines. And here's why Google Maps is the real battlefield for most local businesses. If you want to rank in 2026, you really need to understand this. It's no longer just a feature, it's the main result. So whenever somebody searches up for a local service, Google almost always shows the map, 3 local businesses. If you're in the top 3, you're going to get 93% of all the calls, direction clicks, and website visits, also reviews, photos, and call to actions. And Google knows that local search means buyer intent. So whenever somebody searches up plumber near me or roof repair in Dallas, they're not just researching, they're just ready to call. Also for me, I can't really remember the last time I searched up emergency plumber near me for fun. Usually it only happens when I eat a lot of Mexican food. But besides the point, that's why Google Maps get priority over websites. It's the foundations of local rankings, and I'll tell you exactly how you could rank in the top 3 in the next couple of slides. Before tactical tips, let's talk on numbers. So the top 3 businesses on Google will get almost everything. And here are the facts. 46% of all Google searches are local. That means 1 out of every 2 search is searching for a business right now. And the Google Map Pack top 3 get 40 to 50% of all clicks on local search. And that's almost half the traffic going to just 3 businesses. The number 1 ranking gets the most amount of calls, often around 2x more than number 4 and number 10 combined. 60% of all map clicks turn to actions, and phone numbers are the number 1 action. 76% of mobile local searches lead to a call or visit within 24 hours. So 28% of those turn to a real sale in 24 hours. So this is buyer traffic. Now let's get into the scary part. So if you're not in the top 3, you're going to get 70% fewer calls, way less trust, and almost no chance to even win the lead over. If you're ranked number 4 and beyond, people don't see you. If they don't see you, they don't call you. If they don't call you, you don't get paid. And that's pretty much it. And here's why people ranking in the top 3 can be average at best and still crush it. And why great businesses below the Map Pack struggle. It's not just SEO, it's just a lead. So here's how you could force your way into the top 3. It's not very hard because most local businesses aren't really doing this. And most local businesses aren't even watching this video to begin with. So you're already ahead of 99.99% of the population. Now, let's talk about why humans lose and AI wins in Google Map Pack. One big thing is humans are very bad at consistency, not because they're lazy, but because they're always busy, right? How many times have you seen in the new year that people go to the gym and by April, the gym is almost empty because people lose that consistency? And Google doesn't really care how good your intentions are. It only cares about what signals you send every single week. So managing a GBP means remembering to post, remembering to upload photos, remembering to respond to reviews fast, and remembering to stay consistent forever. That works until life happens. But the thing is, AI doesn't forget, it doesn't get busy, and doesn't stop when results improve. It does the same thing over and over again on schedule, perfect consistency, without emotional drop-offs and without missed weeks. And Google rewards patterns and not effort. It looks for continuous activity, repeated relevant signals, and stable engagement trends. Here's why AI-managed business profiles way outperform human-managed profiles over time. Not because they're smarter, because simply they don't stop. In Google Maps, the winner is not always the person that works the hardest, but it's the person that stays consistent the longest. And here's how Google Maps actually rank local businesses. So with all the SEO jargon, it only boils down to 3 core factors, and here's what it means in plain English. Everything that SEO agencies talk about with backlinks, citations, internal linking, all follow within these 3 categories. I'll just make it very simple for you. And if you're watching on Gamma, you could go ahead and click this link to watch the video. But if you're on YouTube, you can also just go to my channel. You can watch the YouTube videos there. But it boils down to relevance, distance, and prominence. So let's get into what every single one of those categories mean. Number 1, relevance. So relevance means, does your business clearly match the search? So Google checks the primary category, secondary category, services listed, keywords in the description, website confirmation. Basically is, will your business match the question or what the user is searching for? If it's not, I'm not going to show you as a business. Next, distance. So this means, are you close enough to the searcher? So you can't control this, but you can only optimize around it. We have had clients that start up a second location just so they could target a different area and they have better distance and proximity. However, most people, you could just focus on the other 2 factors and can rank a lot better. So one example I could bring is, unless you're a very good Mexican food place, I probably won't drive 50 miles to eat at your restaurant. Max I'll go is 15 and 20 miles, even if I have to call that emergency plumber later, right? Google knows this and probably won't show you to these type of leads. Next is prominence. So does Google actually trust you? This includes reviews, review frequency, review velocity, profile activity, photos, engagement, mentions across the web. And most businesses think about distance, but to be honest, distance you can't really control because that's your business address. However, the winners focus on relevance and prominence, and this is where all the rankings are actually decided. And here's why the GBP beats your website. Because everybody at SEO, they always talk about the website, but for local business rankings, the only thing that matters the most is the GBP. And Google reads your GBP far more often than your website. Your GBP is structured data that Google literally created, and Google can instantly understand it. However, your website is unstructured, and Google has to interpret it. So for example, if you have a website, it could be on Webflow, WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, all those things. It's kind of walking to your nearest Walmart looking for something you usually don't buy. and you ask the employees there, and sometimes they might know where it is, but most of the time they don't. Versus you just ordering this item off of Amazon, and Amazon has inventory of all the products they have. Google is the exact same way, and this is why GBP matters a lot. And from your profile, Google can directly read the business categories, services, location signals, operating hours, photos, and then metadata. So this is basically Google seeing where a photo was taken, what time it was taken, and then what the photo even describes. Reviews and then keywords inside reviews. Also user behavior like calls, clicks, and directions. Your website helps confirm this data, but it doesn't override it. So for example, if your GBP is weak, your website cannot save you. If your GBP is strong, your website strengthens your business. Here's why GBP and Google Map rankings always start with the GBP. Now let's talk about GBP categories and services. So we have a video on how to pick your primary category, but this is one of the most important ranking factors in Google Maps. It tells Google who you are, it tells the secondary categories tell Google what else you do, and then Google uses a category ladder. Some categories are going to be a lot more competitive than others. So choosing a wrong primary category can completely cap your rankings, and services just as much. So every time you add a new service, you create relevance signals, you expand keyword coverage, and you help Google match you to searches. It's not just text, it's signals that you send to Google on what your company actually does. And every single service you list becomes another way to rank. And most businesses, they pick the wrong category, they add too few services with no description on any of them, and then they never update them. And then that's why they don't move. So if you have correct categories, full service coverage, you'll get relevance dominance in your local market. Now let's talk about GBP activity. And here's the real ranking lever. Most people don't realize this, but Google Maps heavily favor active profiles. Imagine how many profiles on Google are actually shut down local businesses. They set up once, they haven't updated their profiles in years. It's kind of like that one house in your neighborhood. You never see anybody go in or come out of the house, and you don't even know if anybody's actually living there. And Google acts the same way. So if you don't show signs of life, Google is going to assume nobody lives in that house. Now Google tracks posts, photo uploads, profile edits, review responses, and this is known as freshness. So fresh signals this business is alive and operating. Inactive profiles slowly lose visibility, and posting and optimizing once is not enough. It rewards consistency and not bursts. And that's why most local businesses fail. They optimize their profile once and then just stop. And here's why active profiles get tested a lot more, and then inactive profiles get pushed down in the rankings over time. Now let's talk about reviews. So trust, keywords, and AI signals. Reviews aren't just social proof, they're ranking data. So what Google takes a big look on is reviews, quantity, the velocity, the recency, keywords inside the reviews, and the review responses from the business to show that you're actually alive, right? Business with fewer reviews but consistent recent reviews can outrank a business with hundreds of old reviews. I've literally seen it with my own eyes on Lead Oracle and with all the platforms and profiles that we have on board. And AI also reads these reviews. So it helps AI understand what services you actually perform, how customers describe you, and what problems you solve. And when customers naturally mention these services and location, their keywords become powerful ranking signals. Ignoring reviews is basically ignoring trust, and trust is what actually ranks. So here's a video on how you can rank even without hundreds of reviews. It's on my channel or in this Gamma doc. Now let's talk about consistency and entity trust. So nowadays, Google and AI see your entire business, your entire local business as an entity and not just separate GBP, website, social media platforms. And an entity is basically a collection of facts. So name, address, phone number, services, categories, descriptions. And these facts must match everywhere. So if your GBP says one thing, your website says another, directory says something else, trust drops. And AI doesn't like to guess, it likes certainty. So consistency and confidence and visibility, it's all interlinked. And that's why automations matter, because humans forget and systems don't. And the businesses that keep everything aligned all the time are going to win. Now let's talk about why manual GBP management fails. So it's not very hard, just doing consistently is. So you need regular posts, new photos, review responses, ideally with 12 hours, service updates, keyword alignment, monitoring performance. And most business owners are going to be busy, they forget, or they fall behind. That's where rankings drop. So Google doesn't punish you, it simply favors somebody else who stayed active. And that's why whenever GBP becomes automated, consistency becomes effortless. And that's how rankings are protected and improved over time. Now, I'll keep reiterating this fact because Google doesn't reward effort, it rewards consistency. And the main thing is you could spend 5 hours optimizing your profile, writing a perfect description, adding every single service, and still lose rankings. Because the main thing is Google's not checking once, it's checking all the time. It's constantly asking itself, Is this business still active? Is it relevant? Is it trusted? And then one-time optimization answers that once, but consistent activity answers it every single week. And that's the difference. And businesses that stay active are tested higher. They get more impressions, they get more engagement. And businesses that stop, they are tested less, lose visibility, and get passed quietly. This is why rankings often drop without any warning. Nothing broke, nothing was penalized. You simply just stop signaling consistency. And consistency compounds. Effort is only temporary. And Google always rewards businesses that show up again and again, week after week. Here's your checklist action plan. So if you want to rank in the top 3 on MapPack, this is the minimum standard. And just use this as a checklist, or you could potentially just use our tool to automate all of this on autopilot. So number 1 is the GBP foundations. And you could go ahead and just pause this video or screenshot it. And number 2 is weekly activity. These are non-negotiables. Number 3, reviews and trust signals. Number 4, engagement signals. 5, consistency checks. 6, ongoing optimizations. And I won't read into this, but you could go ahead and pause the video and read it for yourself. But the important truth is doing this once will not rank you. Doing consistently will. And I'll keep reiterating that in this video because Google Maps reward businesses that act like real active companies. And this is why most businesses and local businesses will fail and why systems always beat the effort. And here is why it happens if you don't do this. So once you stop managing your GBP actively, rankings don't just disappear overnight. They're going to slowly decay. First, your impressions will drop. It would be shown less and the engagement drops. So you'll get less clicks, you'll get less calls. And this leads to fewer calls, fewer direction requests, and fewer clicks. And then Google starts testing competitors above you. And then some of them stick. And then before you know it, you're no longer in the top 3. And nothing looks wrong. All your reviews are still there. You're still open. Your profile's still there. But Google has moved on. And this is why so many businesses come to us and they say, hey, we used to rank so well. They simply just got outpaced by the algorithm because somebody else stayed active. They kept signaling that they're relevant, and then they earned all of these consistency points. Google didn't punish you, it just rewarded somebody else. And that's a silent killer in Google Map rankings. And this is why doing it once just never works. And only consistency doing it will protect visibility long term. Now, let's talk about website, what SEO agencies love to talk about, and why this is a secondary ranking factor. So up until now, you've realized that GBP is the engine for local rankings. It drives everything I discussed before. But however, it doesn't just rank businesses on trust alone. It verifies. And that's why your website is very important as well, but it's not as important as a GBP. So it's not here to compete. It's just here to confirm. So you could think of it as a resume for Google Maps. So your GBP lists what you do, where you operate, how active you are. And then your website is just a reference check. So Google uses it to understand, is this business legit? Do their services actually match? Do they clearly serve these locations? And if the website confirms what GBP says, rankings stabilize. If they don't, rankings will stall. AI works the same way. So whenever ChatGPT and AI recommends a local business, it double checks the website to make sure the story is consistent and clear. So it's not the main ranking factor for website. However, there's less trust without it and you'll hit a ceiling. One analogy I could bring up is basically a good GBP can outrank bad GBP with a good website, but a good GBP without a website cannot outrank a good GBP with a good website. And in the next section, I'm going to show you how you can structure your website so it supports your GBP, strengthens AI trust, and removes the final barriers to ranking without blogs, fluff, or outdated SEO tactics. And now your GBP is not optional, it's not a nice to have. Now, website SEO is not the engine, it's the proof. So you need to understand your website does not replace your GBP. You need your GBP. It just supports it. So GBP tells Google who you are, your website proves it's true. And whenever Google ranks businesses in maps, it cross-checks your GBP, the source of truth, your website, the confirmation layer, and other mentions across the web, the reinforcement signals. And you could go ahead and read this and pause the video to read what each of these sections say. And whenever ChatGPT recommends the local businesses, it doesn't just look at maps, it double checks the website to understand services, locations, and then problems you solve. And website SEO is not about traffic, it's about validation. Now, here's how Google uses your website for maps rankings. So it simply verifies your business with it. So it looks at, does your services match your GBP services? Does your location match your service area? And so information clear and structured. So basically, all of it leads to, is this business legit and relevant? And whenever answers are clear, your maps are going to skyrocket. Whenever they're vague, your trust will drop. And here's why pretty websites actually with no clarity don't rank. Your websites don't need to be long, doesn't need to be very pretty. It just needs to be specific. So clear service pages, clear location signals, and clear structure. And the only pages you need for local SEO are these. And every single person overcomplicates website SEO. You don't need dozens of blog posts, SEO content strategies, and then long articles nobody reads. So only a few page matters. Here are the non-negotiables. Number 1, homepage. Summary of who you are, where you serve, and then what you do. Number 2, service pages. 1 page per main service. Number 3, location pages. 1 page per city or service area. And every single page has a job. Service pages tell Google what you do. Location pages tell Google where you do it. If these pages don't exist, Google is going to guess and doesn't like guessing. Now, let's talk about the homepage. And here's what Google thinks it is. It doesn't read your homepage like a human. It simply just scans it. You could think of it as an impatient employee. It looks for a headline and the section titles. If it can't understand your business in less than 10 seconds, you're going to lose. But if it can, you're going to win. And here's why it matters. Your main headline should clearly state service plus location. For example, professional roof repair in Dallas, Texas. And that one line would do way more for SEO than most entire websites. Your homepage answers, what do you do? Where do you do it? Why should I trust you? Everything else is decoration. Now let's talk about the service pages. So this is where rankings are won. If homepage is the front desk, service pages are the specialists. Think of a hospital. And you don't go to a lobby for heart surgery. You go to cardiologists. And Google works the same way. Each service page tells Google, this business is the expert in this specific thing. And this is why one service per page matters. And then you really need clear explanations, and then generic pages fail. A service page should feel like this page exists only to explain this one service. And this increases trust, relevance, map rankings, and then AI recommendations. When service pages are missing, Google has to guess what you actually do, and Google does not reward guessing. And in this Gamma doc, you can go ahead and watch this video, or you could go to the Lead Oracle AI channel. You can watch this video as well on how to create service area pages that rank number 1 on Google. Now let's talk about internal linkings. So internal links confuse a lot of people, but here's a very simple analogy to understand. Internal links are hallway signs. So if your website is a building, links tell Google where each room is. And when homepage links to service pages, Google learns these services are important. And when service pages link to location pages, Google learns these services happen in these areas. If you don't have links, there's no guidance. And Google doesn't just explore randomly, it follows paths. So clear paths equal clear understanding equal better rankings. Now let's talk about schema. And this sounds very technical, but it's actually very simple. And a lot of website plugins already provide this. So you could think of schema as labels for machines. So you could think of it as putting a name tag on everything. Instead of Google guessing, is this a business? Is this a service? Is this a location? Schema tells Google directly, hey, this is a local business. These are our services. This is our address. And these are our reviews. And your website already says this. Schema just makes it impossible to misinterpret. And this provides certainty. And then schema reduces confusion. Less confusion equals more trust. And here's an example of a schema, which is basically a script that you inject onto your website that tells Google exactly what you are. Now, here's the real goal of website SEO. Your website has one goal in local SEO, to remove doubt and also to expand your service area beyond what you have on your GBP. So your website answers the question, is this business legit, relevant, and clear? If it's yes, your rankings on local business and map pack are going to skyrocket. If it's not, then it might hurt you in the long run. So it's not about tricks, it's about clarity. And this is why clear websites win all the time. Now let's talk about service pages. So this is technical, but very simple. So each core service should have its own page. And a proper service page should include the service name and the title, a clear explanation of the service, who it's for, where it's offered, internal links to relevant services. So this confirms relevance for Google Maps, gives AI clear answers to pull from, and you really need to avoid keyword stuffing. So write as if you're explaining to a customer. And whenever a human can understand it easily, Google and AI will too. Now let's talk about location pages. So location pages are how you expand visibility beyond your address and beyond the radius that most Google business profiles rank. And this should clearly name the city, explain the services offered there, refer to nearby areas naturally, and then link back to relevant service pages. And this supports map pack rankings by expanding geographic relevance, so expanding you beyond your radius on the map pack, confirming service areas, and helping AI recommend you in specific services. However, you need to make sure that you don't have just a template, copy-paste location pages. You need to refer to nearby areas naturally, so Google doesn't think that it's thin and copy-paste locations. Now let's talk about structure, not length, and how AI reads websites. So it doesn't read websites like humans, it tracks answers. So AI looks for clear headings, short sections, simple language, direct explanations. And long paragraphs are going to confuse AI. And this is why headings matter, bullet points matter, and clear layout matters. So if your website's easy to skim, it's easy for AI to understand, and this is how your site feeds ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini recommendations. Now, here is a website SEO checklist, which is a supporting role to the GBP. Number 1, website SEO foundations. Number 2, consistency. Number 3, structure. Number 4, technical basics. If you want, you can go ahead and pause this video and just screenshot this. And the main thing here is your website doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be clear and match your GBP, because whenever your website confirms your GBP, Google and AI will trust you a lot more. That's why our rankings will compound. Now, you've reached to the end of this video, and you should pat yourself on the back, because most local businesses or agencies won't watch an almost 30-minute video on how to rank better on ChatGPT and AI in Google Maps. So if you made it to the end, congratulations, because 99.99% of local businesses won't make it to the end. And you're truly on your path on starting to generate leads from AI search in Google. And if you're a local business just looking to do all the things that I mentioned in this document, and you just want to autopilot, you could go ahead and start a trial of our software. I'm going to include it in the Gamma doc and also in the link in the description on YouTube. If you're an existing agency and you already have local clients that you want to do SEO for, you just want to automate some of the things I discussed in this video, like AI GBP or website stuff, you could book a demo call in the description as well. And you can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, and X. So I hope you got some nuggets out of this video and you're on your path to start ranking number 1 on ChatGPT and Google. And I'll catch you in the next video.